Hi, I'm Kelsey Brennan-Wessels, and we're here on the sidelines of the Paris Air and Space Show. And I'm speaking with Jussi Luntama, who is the head of space weather for ESA. Now, my first question is, what is space weather?
Space weather is the dynamic part of space. So space is not a vacuum. It's full of radiation. There is electromagnetic radiation. There are particles like electrons, protons, heavy ions. And the amounts of these particles, this environment, it keeps changing because of the activity of our sun. And this dynamic change, this is what we call space weather.
Now, for us on the ground, we really only consider our weather, the rain, the snow, the sun. How does this affect us?
It doesn't affect us as humans. We have been on this planet for millions of years and space weather has not impacted us. But it does impact our infrastructure. Our satellite systems in space that we use every day for telecommunication, we use it for navigation. Those systems actually can break because of the impact of space weather. The charged particles can break the satellites, they can cause them to go into a safe mode, which means that the services are not available. Astronauts in space are at a radiation risk because of the same particles, especially if we go outside the Earth's magnetosphere. So if we fly to the moon, for example, then this is a serious risk for the health of the astronauts. And finally, actually, space weather can also disturb or actually even damage ground-based systems like power grids. And this is the reason why we are so concerned about what happens in the sun and how it impacts us here on the Earth.
But there's nothing we can do about it.
Well, we cannot control the sun. This is beyond our technical capability at the moment. We can also not shield the Earth like they do in the science fiction movies. But what we can do is to forecast the space weather and inform the operators of this system, satellite operators, operators of the power grids, airlines, aviation, tell them what's happening, what is going to happen, and then they can actually take measures to protect the infrastructure so that it will not get disturbed or damaged. And if there is something happening, they can also recover much faster.
So how can we do this?
We do it by monitoring actually the space environment, and particularly by looking at the sun. We want to see when something is happening in the sun, and we also want to see the features on the solar disk, like the what people usually call sunspots. We call them active regions, which are complicated magnetic structures on the surface of the sun. Those are the sources of the most dangerous space weather.
So what are you doing here at the Paris Air and Space Show?
Here we are actually communicating our approach for the monitoring of space weather, our space weather system, to the public, to the other people and the actors in Europe. We are also actually talking about the new steps that we are taking to improve our space weather monitoring capability. ESA is at the moment starting the implementation of a space weather mission to the fifth Lagrange point, which is a point which is 150 million kilometers behind the Earth. A stable point where we can put the satellite and monitor the sun, and that gives us a completely new perspective to see the space weather both from the direction of the Earth and from this L5 direction, and it will give us a completely new capability to forecast space weather.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
And to our viewers, remember that to learn more about space, you can visit our website, www.esa.int.